Hell, we're here with tonight with Coach Randy Palmer, who's getting ready to face the Davenport Wolves. Coach, thanks for joining us again this evening. And why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about last week's game? Hey, a good Gonzales team came in, but Coach Herb and myself, we were commenting during the game how we saw a lot of positives from your side. Tell us a little bit about last week and moving forward.
Yes, sir. The first 2 weeks of our would not have been able to do what we did against Gonzales offensively. They ended up lining up in a front that we really hadn't practiced a whole lot against. But it was some fronts that we've gone against in practice and a little bit in some games. So we really anticipated them being more in a straight 50 front, and they ended up really going just a straight split. But that really did not, and that really didn't affect our guys at all. I thought our guys were sticking to their rules, which meant that they started to understand the rules of what they're trying to do a little bit better. We just had a hard time maintaining blocks and keeping guys where we needed to be able to win some blocks that we weren't able to win. Our backs missed some holes that they needed to be able to see. But I thought that the actual execution of plays offensively was much better. We still had a couple times, especially in the second half, where we lost our focus a couple times. It's kind of stuff that had happened in our previous games, but we were able to keep it to a minimal. And then they just got some big plays on us. Couple pass plays they made were really phenomenal. The one in the end zone was a great catch by that kid.
Yeah.
And then their first touchdown, our corner jumped their comeback route, and the quarterback just kept the ball up high, and our guy couldn't go up there with him. And that kid ends up scoring a touchdown. When if that quarterback doesn't make that kind of throw, it's a good chance we pick it off. And then obviously we dropped a pass that would have been an answer for a touchdown. And those kinds of things that just if we were able to tie it up 7-7, I think it just gives our kids a boost of energy and more confidence. Yes, we were happy that our kid goes out there and makes a 42-yard field goal, which was another great kick by our kid. But just the fact that we had to kick a field goal when we had a touchdown right in our hands really hurt us. And then just Coach Hamilton and Gonzales, they did a great job. They did a great job playing defense and then bogging us down and forced us to make some mistakes. And then they were able to just wear us down up front and able to punch the ball in a couple times there in the second half. But I felt like our kids didn't quit. That was one of the main things. We got down. Our kids kept fighting and kept staying in the game and kept working together and found a way to put some stuff together at the end of the game to show us that we're not going to quit and we're going to keep fighting. So definitely a lot of teachable moments. You learn from it. I really felt like last week we had a good week of practice, and it showed with some of the stuff that we did. I thought we were able to execute and do some things on offense. Just got to be able to hit some stuff faster. And that's one of the things we're lacking a little bit right now is being fully confident and knowing what we're going to do, and attacking just faster and more physical. So we're definitely going in the right direction.
Good.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. But as we say that, everything you were doing was there were a lot of positives, there were some negatives. And now you've got to look forward to probably the best team you're going to see this year, the Davenport Wolves. Coach Herb and I were over there today. We interviewed a couple of their players and Coach Zimmer, Hansel, and pretty good-looking kids, good-looking stuff. Of course, they have a beautiful school. My gosh, what beautiful facilities they have right in the heart of Garden Ridge. They, really nice. But, like you said, some of those things you want to keep improving on. So tell us a little bit about what you've seen on video and how you think you guys will match up against Davenport.
Well, the biggest thing is you talk about Davenport and you're talking about one of the best teams in the state of Texas. They're definitely competing to win the region. They are in the top of our region right now, ranking wise. And So that obviously puts them in the conversation as a state championship type football team. And you watch them on film, and they're as advertised. They've got tons of skill. They've got tons of size, and they're very well coached. They're very well disciplined. They do everything that you really want from a football team. They are, and that's as athletes, as coaches, as competitors. What a great opportunity for us. It's you get to go against one of the best teams in the state, in our region, and we got to be ready to go, and we've got to be able to get to that point, and we've got to be able to make sure that we're preparing and making sure our guys in the right mindset of saying we're going to come out here and we're going to compete and we're going to get after them, and it doesn't matter who we're playing. It's always about us, and that's the main thing that we've been talking about the last couple of weeks, and we talked about that on Saturday also. Was it is about us. No matter who we're playing, we've got to make sure we're executing things right, and we're coming off the football, and it doesn't matter who we're playing. We've got to make sure we're competing, and we're getting after them guys. But absolutely, these guys are a phenomenal-looking football team. So we definitely have our hands full, and we've got to get better. We've got to play better, and we're looking forward to it. It's we get them coming to our place, and they've got some great athletes and great players and great coaches, and we're going to be ready to get after them.
Well, and nobody better to know what a state championship caliber team looks like other than yourself, Coach Palmer, as you got those 2 rings on right now.
No, I do not. No, I no. But yes, and that's it's and that's the thing is and I know kind of their mentality of what they're going through when they're going to each game, and what they're planning on doing, and making sure they've got everything all their I's dotted and T's crossed. So I know they're preparing for us and getting ready to go. So that's. And you can see it. You can see it with what they're doing each week. Just the way that they attack defensively. You see their run fits. You see how they're trying to take on blocks and defeat blocks, and the speed that they're playing with. It's impressive. So that's when you play good teams, it only makes you better. Because you have to adjust to the speed of the game. You have to adjust to the physicality of the game, and if you can't, then you're going to lose that game. So obviously, we've got to be able to adjust quickly, because they're going to be moving fast and they're going to be coming off the ball hot. So we've got to be able to raise our level quickly, because they're doing things right. We've got to make sure we're trying to match what they're doing.
Speaking of that, the tempo that they play with that I know of. Do you do anything different during your practice to try to simulate that?
Yes, sir. Jordanton, kind of does the same thing, but not quite as fast as what Davenport does. Right. But we were able to simulate it the best that we can. It's we don't. It's tough to simulate their pace. Yeah. But our defensive coordinator, Coach Trey Ailey, he's got a system that he uses to try to get our scout teams lined up real quick. Just kind of they kind of have cards that they look at the card real quick and kind of just put it in their pocket. So you kind of each kid already has a scout card with certain plays on it, and so then as soon as the play's over, we're lining up in the next formation and looking real quick, getting lined up, and trying to simulate as fast as we can, just so that the defense can hurry up and look to the sideline to get their call. Right. And be ready to go, because it can happen really, really quick. Yeah. Because we actually played Davenport whenever I was in Shiner. They were I guess it was their first or second year program. They were just getting started, so we were playing against a bunch of, I think they were sophomores. They had no seniors. Right. I think it was probably a bunch of sophomores, and I think they showed up to Shiner. They may have had maybe like 12 buses of, like they had like probably 3 buses of kids, and then like 3 or 4 buses of their band. And it was like, I don't think we have anywhere left for you guys to park. Shiner is we're a little 2A town, and big program was coming in, and they already had, they had the dance team, the cheerleaders, right, the pep squad, the band. It was pretty crazy. But we got to see them kind of at their early stage. But they're already really good. Just as sophomores. Coach Zim was he was the head coach there, and getting the program built. And it's obvious he has done a fantastic job building that program into what it is right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, Coach Palmer, I know you want to get home, get fed, and get in bed. Probably watch a little video before you go to bed. I know how you guys are, you intense guys. But thank you for taking time out to visit with us this evening. And
you bet. I appreciate you guys covering our games. Appreciate all the support you guys give us, and looking forward to some more games with you guys.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks, bud.
All right. Thanks, guys. Good night.